And all learning experience. All learning experience. So, all right, let me begin. Hello, guys. My name is Aaron Goins, and this is the Last Line Defense Real Estate Meetup. And I created this meetup because I wanted to have a platform to talk about real estate. When I was in the military, no one in my circles talked about real estate. They talked about saving money, debt, stocks and bonds. And I didn't know the power of real estate. I didn't know the power of the VA loan. And I wanted to have a platform where we can talk about real estate and military and civilians can learn. A lot of times in military, people deploy, and when they come back from deployment, you see a lot more Dodge Chargers, pickup trucks on the road instead of people buying things that's going to appreciate over the course of time and build their wealth. So thank you guys for coming. We appreciate that. Please spread the word about this meetup. We will make this big as possible, and I want to people to learn about different niches in real estate. We have a great guest speaker, Michael Collins today. But before I get to Michael, there's anybody new here? I've seen some new people, but I want to see if they have the courage to present themselves to everybody. So is anybody new that want to speak out and say hello to everybody?
Hey, Aaron, it's Anthony. Nice to be in the group today. Glad you invited me. Just a little background. I'm in real estate with the Rand Group, and have a couple of properties, working on one here in Seattle as well. That's kind of my story. One property in Arizona, property in Florida, and soon to be one here in Seattle. So
there you go. All right, Anthony. All right, Anthony. All right,
Yep.
Anthony. That's what's up. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I don't have my video playing. I apologize. I'm in here doing some flooring, but this is my first time in the meetup. I'm active duty Air Force. I met Aaron through another real estate group, and I am currently working on a duplex and should be leaving the Seattle area soon, fingers crossed, and moving to the East Coast. So my goal essentially is just to house hack and keep buying, so that way when I retire or get out or whatever my next move is, I'll have some passive income coming through. So thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Anybody else?
Hello, good evening. My name is Linda Carrington Lewis. Aaron is my godson, and I'm happy to be joining everyone this evening. I'm seeking to obtain some family property in Virginia, hopefully in the next couple of months, a retirement property, so future residence and maybe a rental property in the near future. Thanks for meeting everyone tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Aaron, I'll go because I think I came in late for the first meeting and I never got a chance to introduce myself to the group. But Ken Hines, retired Army. Currently, I have a single family portfolio, and I'm looking to scale into the multifamily. Me and Aaron met at a couple of meetups a while back, and the Veterans Real Estate Live conference way back when. And so we just keep on bumping into each other, and now we're in the same mastermind, and looking forward to his meetup.
Thank you. As you guys see, besides my godmother, everybody I know, for the most part, I network with, part of different groups. That's very powerful for people in real estate. You need a network, and that would be a future guest to talk about that and the power of REIA groups. But this week we have a great guest speaker. It's Michael Collins. Michael has been in the real estate investor for over 20 plus years. He's also a coach of the Tony Robbins program. and various other things as well. So, Michael, the floor is yours. If you want to share anything, let me know. I can make you a host.
Sure. Nope. I'll start talking if that's okay. And hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. And I just want to say I appreciate all your service. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. About me, I think I'm going to be able to provide some interesting insight for you folks, because I'm not only a real estate investor for 20 years, I've been a mortgage lender for 30 years. I currently am partners in a fund that funds fix and flip and real estate investors, but I did owner occupied properties, VA loans, FHA loans, the whole gauntlet for, as I said, about 30 years. I am a coach, and I'm a certified Tony Robbins coach, and I want to share with you some tidbits about the real estate market that you may find interesting, and then also talk to you about some mindset things that hold some people back from achieving their goals and becoming the type of investors or real estate entrepreneurs that they want to be. But first of all, let me give you some background. I got to the real estate business very, very honestly because I was born into it. My one grandfather was a plumber in our little town here in New Jersey, and he would find out houses that were available or people that maybe were looking to move their house. And including my dad, I had 6 aunts and uncles, and my grandfather and my grandmother were able to buy each of them a house within a couple blocks of each other. So it was kind of cool growing up with all my aunts and uncles within bike riding or walking distance. And my grandparents were very much real estate entrepreneurs. My dad caught the bug, and he shared that bug with me. And at the height, I guess, of my real estate investing, I probably had about 25 doors. Most of them single family rentals or duplexes. And if anybody wants to, I can share you my insight as to what I would have done differently compared to buying a lot of single families. I definitely would have done things differently. But in any event, as I said, I was the owner of a mortgage company for 30 years. I did work on Wall Street in mortgage-backed securities. And I am the partner in a fix and flip fund at this point in time. But, and again, I am a certified Tony Robbins life and success coach. So let me transition to that, because Tony Robbins says 2 things that I think are very important and I'd like to share with you. Number 1, success leaves clues. So meetups like this are awesome because you're able to share success stories with each other, and nobody needs to reinvent the wheel. There are very specific steps to becoming successful, and those clues are left behind and can be shared with other investors. So congratulations to you guys to getting together and having this meetup. The second thing that Tony Robbins says is that 80% of success in whatever it is we attempt to do is mental, and only 20% is execution. So what I want to spend is a couple minutes talking to you about some of the mental barriers that hold people back. And in my experience as a coach and as an investor and as a lender with realtors, I find that there are generally 5 reasons why people don't achieve their goals. The number 1 reason is limiting beliefs. And what's a limiting belief? Well, a limiting belief are those gremlins in your head that tell you you can or can't do something. We tell ourselves rational lies. We rationalize why we don't want to do something. And really what it is, it's a protective mechanism. It kind of lets us off the hook from having to be accountable for things, for goals that we might set and things that we want to do. But more than that, it's actually our thought process. There's a gentleman by the name of Joe Dispenza. He's a very famous author and speaker and coach. And he says that we typically have between 60 and 80,000 thoughts a day. And I'm not sure if any of you know how many of those are negative, but it's about 75%. So our DNA is actually wired to undermine our efforts and to kind of beat ourselves up, right? So we go into this protective mechanism of telling ourselves these rational lies. And what I tell a lot of my clients is you almost have to reprogram your brain to counterbalance all this negative stimuli that we're constantly getting. When I coach young kids, I tell them the best thing they can do is turn off their cell phones because the social media is just delivering them constantly bad, negative news. So, that is limiting beliefs. Your brain, frankly, doesn't know the difference between a positive thought or a negative thought. It's going to assume that a negative thought is true. So you have to really focus on, as I said earlier, reprogramming yourself and making sure that you have those positive thoughts. Regarding the real estate business, one interesting thing I'll share with you when I coach realtors is, I've been in the business for 30 years, so you're going to see ups and downs in the market. There's going to be cycles, and there are going to be bad markets. Now, we haven't had one in a while. Most of the country's had a pretty good run here. But, when I deal with realtors who are dealing with a bad market, they'll tell me, oh, nobody's buying a house anymore. Well, what I'd like to share with you as all potentially real estate investors is there are basically 6 reasons why people are going to buy real estate in any economic environment. And very quickly, I'll tell you those reasons are: number 1 is going to be marriage. Number 2 is going to be divorce. Number 3 is birth. Number 4 is death. Number 4 is relocation or change. Someone moves into an assisted living facility. And then number 5 is relocation and change. And then number 6 is real estate investors. You've now got wholesalers out there. You have people who are making a career out of real estate investing. So the point I want to share with you is that there are always opportunities to do real estate transactions, regardless of what interest rates are, regardless of what the market is, regardless of what's going on. And I like to share with people, the reason I talk about my grandfather, the plumber, is because he was able to source houses in a non-conventional way. He sourced houses directly from the homeowner. He didn't wait for it to hit multiple listing or get to a realtor. So he was kind of on top of the market. He knew what was going to be available or what might not be available. And those same opportunities are available to you as investors. If we know that 50% of the population is going to get divorced, then I would say to you, how many divorce attorneys do you know that could potentially be a source of referrals for real estate transactions? So I just kind of want you to think a little bit differently. One of the things that I like to share with people also, as far as kind of a non-conventional source of business, is when I was when I owned my real estate, my investment properties, you have to go to court. Landlord-tenant laws affect life, and you get dragged into it. And I actually bought some properties at landlord-tenant court because you go up to a guy who owns a property that just got fined, and he's had it. He's done. He's ready to sell that property. And you can have a very good conversation with someone there before they even list it with a realtor. So you're beating the market, and you have an opportunity that's presented to you. So those are just things I kind of wanted to share with you as far as some out-of-the-box thinking in approaching your real estate investing. But back to those mental barriers that stop people from being successful. The second is a lack of goal setting and goal achievement. It's actually a fact that most people spend more time planning their vacation than they do how to succeed. And there's nothing wrong with planning a vacation, but you could certainly plan a much nicer vacation if you are more successful. And the quote, "If you fail to plan, you plan to fail," is very true. You need a strategy, you need a structure, and you need to have a plan. Number 3 is a lack of systems for support. Everybody needs support. You guys actually, again, congratulates to all of you, because you're in this group, and this group provides you with a great sense of support. So that's excellent. Number 4 is poor time management. And this is one of my favorite topics, because in North America, most people are productive 3.5 out of an 8-hour day, 3.5 hours out of an 8-hour day. But I don't think it's a lack of time management. I think it's a lack of poor prioritization of time. When I coach my clients, I share with them something called a productivity pyramid, where we block out their time into different segments. And we talk about whether you're spending your time on brown time, blue time, green time, or gold time. Well, it's green time that makes your money. It's brown time that kind of sucks your time away. And people can very easily get sucked into brown time and non-productive activities. And we could have a whole conversation about that, why people do that. But that's just something I kind of want to make you aware of. And then the last, number 5, mental barrier or reason why people fail to achieve their goals is a lack of accountability. We all need an accountability partner, whether it's a coach or a mastermind group or a spouse, whoever it is, you need someone to be accountable to. There's studies that show that if you have someone that you commit to be accountable to on a weekly basis, your results increase by 85%. So, those are just some 5 mental barriers I wanted to share with you, make you aware of. And I also want to give you another little tidbit about the real estate market from my perspective. I'm a big demographic guy. I grew up as a baby boomer. If you're ever interested, there's a great book, if you can find it, called The Pig and the Python. And what it does is it talks about the impact that the baby boomers had on our economy as they aged throughout their life. So, when I was a kid, they were building more and more schools because they didn't have enough schools because there were so many baby boomers. And then baby boomers got older and they were buying houses and real estate, it went up. The stock market went up, et cetera, et cetera. It may interest you to know that there were 75 baby boomers. The millennials, between the ages of 24 and 40, there are 80 million. Did I say 75,000? There's 75 million baby boomers. There are 80 million millennials, and they're just reaching the age of becoming homeowners. So it's a great, I'm very bullish on real estate. I think it's demographically driven asset, and it's exciting. My oldest son is 30 years old. Him and his wife just bought a house. So, there's a great opportunity coming that I just kind of want to share with you and make you aware of. And Aaron, that's about it. I just kind of want to focus on some mindset concepts, talk about some real estate specific things. I am a lender, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has about lending. And Aaron, let me know if there's anything else you wanted me to address, or if you want to open it up to Q&A.
Yeah. So I think one thing is, can you talk about a little bit about a mindset shift? Because it takes a mindset shift, because I had to do it myself the last couple of years. I didn't know nothing about real estate. I wasn't really worried about it. I wasn't really, had no knowledge of real estate. My mindset shift because I was at my current job, and so somebody told me I'd be there for another 20 years, and I said I don't want to be there for another 20 years, even though I like the company, and that's my entrepreneur spirit came. But can you talk about a little bit about how can you really change your mindset to be an entrepreneur mindset? Because it takes some, because most people are not entrepreneurs. Most people are just happy working for a job for 30 plus years, and getting a paycheck and retiring. That's just how it is.
Mhm.
Not to try to be offensive to no one, but that's how it is. So can you talk a little about how can you change your mindset to get to a side hustle, maybe to your own business kind of thing?
Sure. Well, again, it's as I said earlier, success leaves clues, right? We've seen examples of it. You can network with people. You can join mastermind groups. It becomes an educational process. The amount of resources and information out there that you have access to educate yourself are unlimited. The mindset is believing that you can do it and having a desire to do it. And that leads me to a conversation about comfort zones. A lot of people do not become entrepreneurial because they're afraid of getting out of their comfort zone. In order to be successful, I believe that you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're not happy, but you're comfortable, you may not be motivated to make that move and make that mindset shift. What is driving that desire to change? For me, I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, but I also felt very strongly that I wanted the independence, and I wanted to be responsible for my own results. I didn't want to have to rely on someone else. So again, it's pairing yourself. You know, you are generally you are who you hang out with, right? So if you associate yourself with entrepreneurs and other like-minded thinking people, you're going to rise yourself to that level. And over time, you're going to start to adapt those philosophies and those behavior characteristics. Does that help?
Yes. The next question I have for you is, you talk about being productive only 3 hours a day. And it's something I struggle with. I have my spurts where I'm productive, and the other spurts I'm just lagging, or I'm tired, or I don't want to feel like it. Can you talk about just a little bit about how can you shift your mindset to be more productive? I know I tell people all the time, get a routine, and that will help a lot because you have everything set and scheduled. But you still have times you want to lag, and then you going. I don't want people to be the woulda, coulda, shoulda person. I'm that person. I know a lot of people are, but to shift that, to change that, so that in 5 years you can say, well, I did this, I did that. I'm really proud of myself. Instead of being a woulda, coulda, shoulda person, how can you change that right there?
Well, the first thing is, if you have a to-do list, or if you have a list of goals, it should never be more than 2 or 3 at a time, because the way your mind works is you have, okay, I got to do 1, 2, 3. Anything after 3, it just becomes overwhelming. So I like to say that the longest journey starts with the smallest step, and you have to get bite-sized pieces and bite-sized goals, accomplish those bite-sized goals, build some momentum, and then think of a snowball coming down a hill. You're going to gradually build more and more momentum, and your successes build on each other. I think sometimes people, what they do is they want to take too big a leap, and they want to accomplish too much too fast. Patience is a virtue. It really is. You need to be patient in your plan. And in order to do that, you need to have a strategy as well. There's something called an RPM plan. It's a results, purpose, massive action plan. And you start with the result, and then you reverse engineer backwards how to accomplish that result. You just have to make sure that the result that you're starting with is achievable, and it's realistic, and it's not overwhelming. And sometimes I start with clients, I start with small results and have them build up to bigger results, because it's going to be the successes that keep you going. It's also going to be your passion. I mean, the purpose in the result plan is what fuels your fire. And if you don't have anything fueling your fire, there's the 4 Ds: do it, delay it, delegate it, or discard it. And I think what happens is people delay a lot. And what they typically delay are things they don't enjoy doing. Because when we have to do things we don't enjoy doing, we procrastinate, we delay, it bogs us down, and we don't accomplish the things we want to accomplish. So you have to be very, very aware of where your passion is and focus on your passion if at all possible. And then becoming an entrepreneur and becoming a real estate investor should be that passion. So that should be fueling you.
I know that you probably had many people say the same thing to you. Say, hey, I want to have financial freedom. I want to have financial freedom. I want to achieve that. I want to achieve that. And that seemed like that's something that for some people, it seemed like that's a high mountain to climb, and it seems unachievable. But could you just talk about like how some people have you coached have got to that point where, they are achieving the financial freedom that so many of us seek, or not even financial freedom, but just the time freedom? Because you can always make money, you're not going to always get your time. No, always have time. So have that time freedom more so than the money freedom.
Well, you need a strategy. Again, going back to the pyramid, the productivity pyramid, I mean, you need a strategy. If you're building your business, you have to take a hard look at what activities that incorporate your business that you can delegate. It goes back to the 4Ds, right? You have to take a hard look at, what do I need to do right now? What do I need to delay? What do I need to delegate? What do I need to discard? The delegation is very important. If you can, you partner up with someone who complements you and is good at the things that you're not good at, so that you can both accomplish the ultimate goal, right? And it goes back to what I said earlier, masterminding, meetup groups, interacting with each other. You know, two heads are better than one sometimes, and that's a good thing to put together. So, achieving financial freedom is a function of having a strategy and having a system in place with the right partners as well. And it also takes discipline. You didn't ask me about this, but how you spend your money, how you think about money is something that you need to think about as well, because that discipline with your money is going to help you achieve your financial freedom.
Yeah. Okay. So, going back to real estate, and I think all investors will say this, that, and you even said it, it's not an individual game with real estate. You need to have a team. As you get bigger, as you scale your business, you need people to work with. Could you talk about how to let go of tasks and have others do it? Because we hear it, but you hold on to stuff because this is what you do. But you hear so many times that people say, well, once I let that task and let somebody else do it, I have more freedom to do income producing activities. So could you just talk about a little bit about that, about just that mindset of letting go and let somebody else do it that can do it better than you, so you can work on income producing activities?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the functions involved in real estate investing, there's financing, right? There's searching out the properties. There's actually doing the analysis of the properties. I always encourage people to have a good money source, whether it be a mortgage rep or a banker or somebody as a solid partner. You need to have a solid real estate agent as a partner, so that you're not spending time chasing down all that information and trying to put all that together. As far as clerical assistance or administrative assistance, there's virtual assistants that could be used. There's also a lot of different software programs that could be used. So you want to systemize as much of the process as possible. I think that there are people who, when they start out, they try to do everything, and you just have to make those contacts and make those relationships so that you have those partnerships again that can assist you along the way. And build, as you said it very well, build a team. You need to approach it as though you're building a team, and find a lender, find a realtor, find a title company, find all those professionals that are going to support you in your growth as a real estate investor.
Right. Absolutely. So I want to open this up to questions for the audience. I thought there was some questions I just want to ask to get started.
Sure.
Does anybody have any questions for Michael? Please unmute yourself.
Hey, Michael, I was just, it's really interesting what you were saying. I think that a lot of them hit home. Personally, I think that I struggle a lot with being an entrepreneur at a young age, and then going through the school system and then college, and sitting in a classroom at the University of Washington in Kane Hall, seats 750 students, and you find out there's nothing special about you. You know what I mean? Right. So a lot of that, it gets beat out of us I think from high school on. I hear about a lot of entrepreneurs who, the story of inventors where they've dropped out of school in the 10th grade and then moved on to become great because they kind of focused their studies in a different area. And so it is a lot of relearning to do. But at the same time, I like the idea of being able to now have the internet, have all these other resources to where we can overcome that. The other part of it was the situation where you were in, where your grandfather was a plumber and discovered real estate and then incorporated into the family. That's another learned behavior that's passed down through family generations, and from success, becomes success. And being on the opposite spectrum, where you're born into the projects or something like that, you don't get that. If you're born poor, you're usually taught how to become poor. So it's another mindset of getting out of that as well. But it's a slow process, but it's one that's, it's gaining, for me, it's gaining a lot of momentum now that I have, some of these properties and other things under my belt. But it's still a struggle. I mean, I like the idea of the small goals and achieving those, because I think it is important to win. I think every time you have a goal and it somehow fizzles out for one reason or another, and there's a lot of curves in the road on this, it's easy to take that loss and then sit back and delay or talk yourself out of it. And I like the idea of making the goal small and then achieving those goals and building your way up, and then repeating that over and over. So even if something goes wrong, you still have that same mindset. So a lot of good points that you brought up. And I also wanted to get some information on for your loans and things like that. Are you a hard money lender, or what? Are you just work out of a mortgage company still, or?
Yeah, so let me address a couple of your comments, and thank you very much for the feedback. Number one, if it wasn't hard, everyone would do it, right?
Exactly.
So, so just keep pushing forward. The other thing about the limiting beliefs and the rational lies that I don't think I mentioned is, the one thing you need to do is ask yourself, is this really true? Is what I'm telling myself really true? And that's why I talked about the 6 reasons why there's always real estate transactions. Because when I have a realtor tell me, oh, nobody's doing real estate, I challenge them to say, hey, is this really true? Because you've got 50% of the people getting divorced, and something's going to happen with that house. So you have to constantly question, you have to see things as they are, not as you imagine them to be. And that's a very crucial point, right? So see them as they are, not as you imagine them to be. And ask, and continually ask yourself, is what I'm concerned about really true? I'll tell you a funny story about the negativity and things that we think about. I'm an older guy, I still read newspapers. So I get a newspaper delivered every day and I stack them up. And then after about 3 or 4 months, I tie them for the Boy Scouts to come take. And as I'm looking at the headlines from 3 or 4 months ago, I'm seeing how negative everything is. And I'm thinking to myself, my gosh, if half of those headlines ever came true, it'd be a disaster. But we allow ourselves to believe this stuff. And it's really important to just constantly do a fact check and say, okay, this isn't happening. It's not true. I need to see things as they really, really are. Okay. And again, as I said earlier, you have to, in order to be successful, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because it's not easy. It's hard, and that's why the support and the accountability is important also, because you need that person to kind of, you need that mutual support to keep pushing forward and keep plunging ahead, so that you don't get discouraged and you don't stop. But to answer your questions about mortgage lending, so on a national level, I'm gosh, I hate the term hard money. It has such a connotation with it, right? But I'm a fix and flip lender and a no income rental loan lender. So it's non-bank product. I still am a licensed mortgage originator, but because of the regulations in the country, you're limited to having to be licensed in specific states. So for those of you who are interested, I can do conventional mortgage bankable loans in New Jersey, Florida, and Pennsylvania. But throughout the rest of the country, I can do fix and flip transactions, commercial loans, and rental property loans. Yes, I can do Texas.
Nice.
Eric D asked if I could do Texas. Yes, I can do Texas on my fix and flip and rental loan programs.
Nice.
And for those of you that do we have anybody that's doing fix and flips out there, or interested in learning about the program, or no? Okay.
I'll be
Yeah,
looking
well,
into
I'm interested in it.
Okay,
I am
so
too.
my fix and flip program, I can do up to 90% of the purchase price,
Wow.
100% of the rehab budget, up to 70% of the after repair value. That is a no doc product, which means that I'm not asking for bank statements. I'm not asking for tax returns. I don't verify cash to close. I really don't care where you get the monies to close, because I'm not asking to verify it. You gap funds are okay. Wherever you get it from is up to you. I'm really looking at generally the experience level of the investor and how strong the project is. And I can do that. I can do that program in 44 states. The primary state that I cannot do it in that most people ask me about is Nevada. But pretty much any other state that would matter to any of you guys, I can definitely lend in. And so while I'm on the topic, my rental loan program is a no income verification loan. So I go purely off of the rental, not the 1040 income. I really don't care what your 1040 income is. I just want to see that the property cash flows. So I'm qualifying the property as opposed to qualifying the borrower, although there is a personal guarantee included in that loan. And we do close it in an LLC name or an entity name, corporate name, LLC, whatever the case may be.
Perfect. Definitely got to get your info now.
Okay, all right, absolutely. Yeah, happy to do so. I also do commercial stuff too.
Right.
Just to, guys, if you can put your information in the chat so people connect with you. So put your information in the chat, like the LinkedIn connections and things like that, so people can connect with you afterwards. Any more questions for Michael?
Hey, Michael, I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
First, great talk, but back
Thank you.
to that goal, like basically the goal setting or just trying to get the small victories. But then how do you distinguish like this, trying like to beat from being active, but not making any project, but not making any progress in that going forward? Like you're going to meetups, you're trying to analyze deals, but you seem to be spinning your wheels. What kind of like checks and balances would you do, or something to sort of break out of that rut?
Are you setting goals and objectives? I mean, do you have very defined goals and objectives that you're trying to achieve in those activities and doing those activities?
I have like my long-term goals and specific objectives for the year and for the quarter, but it just seems hard to make progress because I'm scaling from like single family to multifamily, and like a bunch of unknowns. I'm uncomfortable, so sometimes I can't really tell if I'm just spinning my wheels. Like I'm trying to network, meet people, like Aaron said, trying to build a team, trying to get out there and like analyze deals and stuff like that. But sometimes it seems like, I'm back at the end of the week. What did I really get accomplished? I met 5 more people and I analyzed 10 deals, but nothing is really that fits my criteria.
Well, what is your criteria? So what would you like if Monday morning you're starting out? What's your goal for the week? That would be my question to you. And then we would drill down into, your goal for the week is to do this. What steps are you going to take to accomplish that? What are you going to put in place?
Yeah,
Right?
this say like analyze 10 deals in my target markets that fit my criteria. So I'm doing a 1031 exchange that meet that criteria to do that. And then at the end of the week, I've done like 10 deals, but none of them either pencil out or seem feasible. Do I just change my criteria, change my markets, or because I think I'm doing the steps, but I'm not making real progress? Like, I have 2 deals now I can feel confident making offers on, or I met a good broker now, I'm building on that relationship because I haven't done anything yet. So most of the brokers are like this, they're sending me deals, but that like I haven't proven myself.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how you're sourcing your deals. So you're sourcing your deals from brokers? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
Mostly?
check. Yeah, check.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would see if you can tighten up your criteria that you're giving the brokers. You have to fine tune what your criteria is, fine tune what you're looking for, maybe readjust what what criteria you should be looking at, if that makes sense. maybe look at some different markets. There's a lot there that you could dive into and discuss as far as analyzing how you're approaching it and how you may want to tweak your approach to things.
All right, thank you.
Okay. We can talk more afterwards if you want to. Feel free to reach out to me.
Anybody else?
Hey Michael, this is Greg. Thank you so much for this. And it's a pivotal part of one's change once they start to realize that it is indeed the mindset, what they think can happen is possible. That's when they start to move toward developing goals and moving toward that. I do have a question though. My question is, I have a buddy who actually is he's a single family investor, owns about 14 properties to bundle them up under one. He was in talks with a company, and they would not. They will only give him a 5-year balloon, and he was not allowed to be able to. Well, I guess there was a he who had for paying already years, but bundle them all together. Is there any ideas of how he can do that that can benefit not just the company that he's getting the loan from, but also himself without and still meet his goals?
Yeah, I'm going to apologize. I don't know. Hopefully it's not on my end. You broke up a little bit. So you have a friend who has a bunch of properties he's trying to bundle. Is that what you said?
That's correct. Yeah, he has 14 single family properties he's trying to bundle. And
Okay.
what he wants to do is to put them together. And then his plan is to, in the next about 3, maybe 4 years, knock off paying them off, which is admirable. But he's just trying to find a good way of finding a lender who can actually provide that support for him.
Yeah, that is very difficult right now. Post-COVID, what we call portfolio loans. So putting all those loans into all those properties into one loan is very, very difficult to do. That's gotten much more, the guidelines have gotten much more tighter since COVID hit. I have a relationship with maybe 1 or 2 funding sources that will consider doing that. And it is a laborious, detailed, long drawn out process. It's very, very difficult. So what he's experiencing is not unique, unfortunately. I wish I had a better answer for you, but it's a very difficult loan to secure in this current environment.
Okay, and that is despite the fact that those houses have been occupied. He has somebody who moved out of one of them, but then he should be having somebody moving in mid-month, and so he just had enough time to turn it over, and so it's been occupied throughout COVID. Yet he's still having the difficulties getting somebody in.
Yeah, the problem if you think about it, if you take 14 properties and you blank them under one loan, and then he wants to sell 2 of those properties, he has to go to the lender and get a partial release from those properties. So, imagine the loan blanketing all 14 and he wants to remove some from that blanket. That involves a partial release. It involves a restructuring of the loan, potentially a loan modification, redoing, the mortgage instrument, the note instrument. The whole thing has to be redone, and there's just not a lot of lenders real excited about getting involved in a scenario of potentially doing that, if that makes sense to you. It's a more laborious, what I would call servicing intensive loan for most lenders, and they're just not jumping at the chance to do it. Does that make sense?
I'm sorry. I think you broke down on my part. It might be my internet.
Okay.
But from what I gathered, there's not that many companies who are willing to go through the work to do it.
It's a lot of work, and not a lot of companies are excited to do it. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I wish I had better news for you, but that's the truth.
Thank you.
Okay, down to 2 more questions. I know Lawrence got a hand. If anybody else wanted one more person after Lawrence. So Lawrence, go ahead.
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing this evening? Michael, thank you for the information.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Happy to share.
Great info. It's good. It's good to hear about mindset. Whew.
Yeah.
You said something about goals and setting goals, daily goals. I have an issue. Because what happens is I work for transit. I work on the trains. So like you have a goal set, right? You have goals set for the day, and then you got to do some work, right? And that may take 2 hours, may take 3 hours or 4 hours. How do you should I rearrange my goals, or should I just like let's float the goals? And
Well, how many goals do you have?
Like right now, it's like 3 goals a day, because I
Okay.
tried bumping goals, like have 5 or 6 goals. It ain't working.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
No, I can't do it.
Yeah. So I would tell you to focus on one goal a day. Get into the habit of accomplishing one goal a day with your schedule and the other demands on your time and energy. And then when you get to the point that you're consistently still, here's what you do. You still write down 3 goals,
right?
But you prioritize them. You put them in an order of priority, and then you focus on that goal. If you're able to do the second goal, that's great. But just make sure that the one that you are able to accomplish is the most important one.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And it goes back to what the other gentleman said about small victories.
Right.
Have small victories and build off of those.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I have one more question. Is that okay? One more question.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What are your rates for investment properties? Like let's say 3-family, 4-family investment properties. What's your rates? I'm here in New York City. I'm in the Bronx. So.
Yeah. So on a debt service ratio loan where I'm just using the rental income, no 1040 income, depending on my maximum LTV is going to be 80% LTV on a rate and term and a purchase, 75% LTV on a cash out. And depending on the debt service ratio and the FICO score, we're going to be in the probably high 4% range.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So you're paying about a 2%. Huh?
No, that.
You're paying about a 2% premium because I'm not asking for 1040 income, and I'm not qualifying based on 1040 income. I'm qualifying just based on the property. It's more of a business loan than a personal loan.
Okay. Do you have information in the chat?
I'll put it in there. Yeah, I haven't jumped in there yet.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you again for the information. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
One more question for Michael. Anybody have one more question for Michael? And Michael, before a person goes, please put your information in the chat. And then please after this one question, please let us know where we can contact you with. One more question for Michael.
I do have a question. You spoke about in the beginning your experiences when you first got into real estate and some things that you would have done differently. I would like to know what it is that, from your experience, what you would have done differently based on your single family, I guess, and I was assuming that was going to multifamily.
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Thank you. So, my career was as a lender, right? So I focused on predominantly owner-occupied single-family properties. So when I started investing in properties, and that's what my grandparents invested in, that's what my dad invested in. So when I started investing properties, I went to single-family duplex properties like that. So what I did is I probably had, 10 or 15 properties scattered all over the state of New Jersey. So the property management became a nightmare. I ended up actually having to outsource the property management. And if I knew then what I know now, I would have said, the heck with it. And I just would have gone out and bought an apartment building and had one building, manage it with one location, or I would have looked at, maybe self-storage or more of a commercial investment. I have no regrets with my single family and two family investment properties because I made money on pretty much all of them when I sold them. But if I had to do it over again, I would have gone to larger units or more of a commercial investment vehicle as opposed to residential. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. And while you're speaking like the management side of it, do you have any suggestions? I was actually just looking today, again, as I'm, and I say this often, Aaron knows I say it often, me leaving the area. But I was looking today for landlord or property management websites or portals. Do you have any suggestions or any experience, personal, or if anyone else has any experience with any online property management or landlord portal, rental portals, tenant screening options that may be available?
I actually have a coaching client who runs a property management company. So if you want to email me, I can put you in touch with him, and he'll share with you some of his portal information and some of the other resources he has that may be able to assist you.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Hey, Jasmine, just if it's a small portfolio or something like that, you Cozy's really good too. And then Tenant Cloud, like if you're just doing like one or two, or like for that, that's what I use for ones I manage. So, and it's pretty user friendly.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I got an interesting thing on the apartments that it's been, I've been wanting to move into the apartment deal, but here's a situation that I just kind of was exposed through my niece. She just found another apartment because the building that she was in, it had two buildings on one area. The one apartment she had was full of mold. It was nice when she moved in, then within 2 months, there was black mold everywhere. So she complained. The owners looked it over, sent a guy in. He looked at it and said, wow, this whole building's bad. So they moved it to another apartment in the other building. And within 2 months, the same thing happened. And then she found out that they had sold the building. And so that's a whole nother problem. But my question is, now with that new owner who purchased that building, it's all full of tenants, so it has good cash flow, but now they didn't obviously do their due diligence to check to see what was going on in there. In that case scenario, will you have to evict everybody? How do you get that fixed? Or what do you do in that situation when you're looking at potentially a commercial or a big apartment building? Have you run into that?
Let me say this. Let me say this to you. We got some guys on here that can really. I think that'd be an offline thing.
Okay.
For you to talk about, and I can connect you a couple guys that can talk to you about it, because we have some. We're connected. Me, Lawrence, Kenneth, Eric, Michael. We all connected to some people that can help y'all answer your questions for you.
No doubt. Thanks. Yeah. I just it just, the light bulb went off. I know it was the last question, but I said, man, I gotta take advantage of that right there. So I'll look forward to that. Thanks,
Aaron.
Aaron.
We'll talk offline. We can talk to either today or tomorrow about that, and I can move forward with that. Okay, guys. So thank you very much for attending. This is not the end of the meetup, but thank you very much for attending. If you guys could, this is my first time doing this. Other meetups do it. I think it's a great idea. Please, if y'all can unmute, well, not unmute, but your pictures. I want to take a picture. Lauren showed me how to take a picture, so I want to take a picture, and so that I can put this on LinkedIn and just talk about, just show the attendance we have. This is the biggest one meetup we had so far, and it's going to continue to grow. So if you guys could you guys show me pictures, and I'm ready to take a picture in like 5 seconds. What's up, Aldo? Good to see you, man. And I'm pushing the room. I'm gonna push you the room with Lawrence. I want you guys to connect. because Lawrence has a meetup on Tuesdays. I want you to attend. Lawrence is in the Bronx, right?
Yes,
Right.
indeedy.
Right. Good to see you, Anthony. All right, so that's about it. So let me take a picture real quick. So, all right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, took the picture. Let me do it one more time. We had a new person come on. 1, 2, 3. All right, thank you guys very much. Okay, so and thank you, Michael, so much, man. You've provided so much info to everybody.
Thank you.
Can you just let everybody know? I know you put in the chat, but how they can reach you?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Best way to reach me is just use my cell phone, 732-620-8541. 732-620-8541. Text me, call me. I'll text you back, no problem. I also put my emails in the chat if you'd like. I put my lending email and my coaching email. I'd love to talk to you more, and I'd love to help anybody that I can.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. All right. Thank you.
Hi, Linda.
So I know we have some newbies on here, and I want to help you guys out. I do this is what I call roll call, and roll call is basically trying to give especially new people outlets for them to go to get information from. So I know that Michael said some acronyms that some people don't understand and things like that. If you don't know basic real estate. So I'm gonna start with the military. Active duty passive income, ADPI. They're a very good source for military. They have a podcast every week that's really, really good. If somebody wants to learn. 7-figure flipping with Bill Allen. That's another good one to attend. And the War Room Mastermind Group, something that me and Kenneth are part of every week. And that's something that we have. It's basically a mastermind group of military people that we talk about real estate and keep each other accountable. For civilian side, Bigger Pockets is the biggest in the world as far as real estate. And they're ever growing. They have podcasts for newer and experienced investors. Aldo, Anthony, we're part of Ring. If you guys want to know information about Ring, that's a meetup group that's in LA, Washington State, New York, Fayetteville, St. Louis. You guys want to learn about that? Jamal King's make real estate real. It's only $1,000. It's only $1,000, and it has so much information about real estate. Teach you from A to Z about real estate. So Jamal King's Make Real Estate Real is a great one. I know people like me and Anthony, we spent thousands of dollars trying to learn real estate. And